Good day, everyone. This is Mark. I am your life's Q&A coach. And I guess for the next 5 minutes, we're going to sit here and we're going to talk about a question that someone brought up to me recently, and I'm very familiar with. How do I deal with pain? Or how do I overcome pain? Um, so I've got 3 points to make about pain, and maybe a little different than what most people think about, because ultimately pain is inevitable in our lives. We will have seasons of joy, we will have seasons of happiness, we will have seasons of pain. So that's one thing to keep in mind, that regardless of the life we live, uh, pain, unfortunately, will be part of it. It could be the loss of a loved one. It could be the ending of a relationship. It could be a divorce. It could be a separation. It could be an illness. It could be cancer. So the reality is that pain is a part of our everyday life, but pain doesn't have to consume us. So that's a big, important piece of the pain um, conundrum. So, first point I will make is that pain has a purpose in your life, my life, and our lives. What I can tell you is if you're comfortable, and I speak from experience, um, being comfortable is great for some people. And for most people, they would love to say, hey, on any given day, any given Sunday, I would love to be comfortable. I would love to have a great job. I would love to have family, children, if that's your idea of what's a perfect world, the house, the income, the car, all these things, whatever you think of that can make you comfortable. But I can tell you, in comfort, rarely do you find growth. Rarely do you find um, an individual who's going to strive to improve, strive to be better, search out life goals, whether short term or long term. So, comfortable is not always a good thing. And I will say pain has a purpose. And one of the purposes of pain is to woke you, is to shake you out of your comfort level. Trust me, whether it's a divorce, the destruction of a family, whether it's the devastation of cancer, incurable cancer at that, or just the fact that you have a long road or a process ahead, pain has a purpose. It takes us out of our comfort zone, and through that, you will find that growth is inevitable, and a betterment of your life and enrichment of your life. Um, the other thing about pain that I found is it destroys ego, which is a really good thing. Um, Ego is what bravado, narcissism, all these words of what you want to talk about that has to do with ego. Pain destroys that. When you are faced with a painful, life-altering moment, you don't have time for bravado. You don't have time for ego. It kind of reminds me of, people look at the Princess and the Frog. It's actually it's a Brother Grimm tale. It's not a Disney tale. In the original story, the Frog Prince tries to trick the princess. The princess takes him and smacks him against the wall and destroys his egoic state. And then he eventually lets go of his ego and becomes a true human being. And the princess then feels pity on him, kisses him, and he becomes the prince. The Frog Prince, Prince Henry. It's the same thing with the Cinderella story. Cinderella wasn't the Disney story that everybody learns. Fairy tales sometimes ruin us and our children because it kind of blocks us away from the reality of pain and life. In the original Brother Grimm tale of Cinderella, and it's actually a Perrault in France in 1867, and it goes back to ancient China and second century and such. That tale, the stepsisters, actually cut their toes off and they cut their heel off to make the shoe fit. There's a dove that tells the prince that due to the blood that the shoe really doesn't belong to them, and that's how he finally makes his way to Cinderella. The stepsisters were willing to get out of their comfort zone and endure a lot of pain just to ultimately, hopefully, become the princess. which is foolish. So again, pain destroys ego, which isn't always a bad thing. And the other thing I want to tell y'all, because my 5 minutes is coming to an end. And by the way, smash that like button, subscribe, and ask more questions. I love to answer questions. Number 3, the most important thing: pain ends. Eventually, your pain will end, and you will find that there is a better place. There is a sense of peace. There's a sense of happiness. So keep that in mind, that generally in most situations your pain will end. It's not an ultimatum scenario. It's not something to where you need to decide, this isn't the life for me, this isn't what I want. Keep in mind, number 1, pain has a purpose. Don't be too comfortable, because something will be around the corner, but it'll motivate you and make you a better person. Pain destroys ego. When you're in devastating pain, broken heart, you don't have room for ego, and that's a good thing. And then always keep in mind, number 3, pain will end. Eventually, the pain will end. So that's it for today. Again, this is Mark, your life's Q&A coach. Thank you so much, and have yourself a great week, my friends. Talk to you next time.